All right, moving on. Another motorcyclist was killed in a violent crash near Fort Erie yesterday. That makes 5 fatal crashes in the past week involving motorcycles. The OPP say all drivers have to be more aware of their surroundings on the road. Now, we must warn you, some of the images contained in this story may be disturbing to some viewers. Our freelance photographer in Niagara witnessed this violent crash between a motorcycle and an SUV just before 6 last night on Netherby Road near Fort Erie. He called 911 as his friend, a retired firefighter, performed CPR on the motorcyclist until paramedics arrived. The rider was pronounced dead at the scene. There were 4 occupants of the SUV, 2 adult women and 2 children. They were treated at the scene for minor injuries. This is the 5th fatal crash in our area in the last week. Witnesses say this crash happened when the motorcycle pulled out to pass a vehicle and it was hit head-on by this Volkswagen SUV traveling the opposite direction.
People need to realize that when you're operating a motorcycle, you don't have the same protection as you would be driving in a motor vehicle. So unfortunately, Adam, even today coming home to do this video with you, seeing motorcycles traveling at high rates of speed down the roadways, or motorcycles doing stunts such as, pulling wheelies going down a roadway. That's a very self-correctable problem that's going to have devastating consequences.
Sergeant Ed Sanchuk with the OPP West Region isn't talking about last night's crash in Niagara, but says in general, all drivers need to be more aware of their surroundings.
Unfortunately, I've been involved in investigations where, the driver is saying we didn't see the motorcyclist. I'm letting you know right now that we need to train our brain to not only look for motor vehicles, transport trucks, bigger cars and trucks, but also look for those bicyclists, pedestrians, and motorcyclists.
He's been policing for 26 years and has knocked on too many doors and delivered devastating news.
One motorcycle fatality is one too many, and it's very unfortunate because what happens when you knock on someone's door and tell them their loved one's deceased and they're not coming back home to them, that changes their life forever. Police officers also take a piece of that away with them. So do firefighters and paramedics that are arriving on scene, and also the good Samaritans that do stop to help out. I mean, we've seen it time and time again.
Sergeant Ed Sanchuk says if drivers and motorcyclists simply followed the rules of the road and paid attention, a lot of fatal crashes could be prevented.
These crashes are preventable, and what we need people to do is just get back to the basics. Obviously wear your seatbelt, don't drive distracted, no aggressive driving, and not being impaired by alcohol or drugs. If we can take those 4 factors of the equation, we should be able to get to where we're going safely, but more importantly, get home safely to our families without having a police officer knocking on anyone's door.